Hello, Bonnie here, pouring some wisdom into your day. I left my last video with a list of 20 questions as my next sort of series, various questions that I would ponder and then come up with some answers. And as per my promise in the last video, I chose the easiest one to start with. And this is a question that well before YouTube, well before I knew about thinking, I would ponder this kind of question. It fascinated me as an adolescent, thinking about what parents used to do back in I'd say the 50s, and how crazy that was, or even further back. So for example, when smoking was very, very popular, and pregnant women would be smoking and drinking at the bar, and it's just like bananas knowing what we know now, engaging in those kinds of behaviors. And as I would think about those things, I would then wonder into the future, gosh, what are we doing right now that 50 years from now is going to blow people's mind? And it's just, we're just doing it and we don't know any better, and it's just part of everyday life. So I've kind of played this game with myself regularly throughout my life. So I came up with 4 things right off the bat that answer the question, what are we ignoring today that is going to be shockingly obvious in the future? And so the 4 things that I came up with, it sort of jumped out at me. I could barely write them down fast enough as I was thinking of them, was the number 1. And this is not really in any particular order. They're all kind of mind-boggling to me. So all of the endocrine disruptors that we have in our everyday products. So our cleaning products, our perfumes, our personal hygiene products, the plastic that's coming out, like all of these things that we have in our everyday environment that are messing with our internal chemical communication system and causing a huge amount of downstream problems. Eventually, we're all going to wake up to that, and it's going to be shockingly obvious that we shouldn't have been using these things. But I feel like right now we're only slowly waking up to those things. And something that really bothers me is a specific country will say, hey, we see some correlations and maybe even some causations of these particular chemicals in our products are causing downstream health problems for our citizens, so we're going to ban them. For example, the European Union has a huge list of endocrine disrupting chemicals that they've decided are not good for Europeans. And the North Americans have not banned all those chemicals. And that doesn't bother me as much. It bothers me a little bit. Like, let's just get it together. Let's make products that are good for everyone in the whole world. But what bothers me even more is that big multinational companies will abide by the European regulations for Europeans. But then they'll put all those banned garbage chemicals that aren't okay for some people, and they'll continue to put them in the version available for North Americans, or worse, available for Southeast Asians. Like, let's treat people the same. Their health outcomes are going to be the same. If it's causing cancer over here, it's going to be causing cancer over here. Come on, companies, be better. So obviously the countries should also be better, but man, oh man, it really bothers me when a big company will change its chemical makeup to suit the rules of one country for health reasons, and we'll just keep putting this garbage over here because their government isn't taking action, or worse, isn't powerful enough to take action. Another great example of this is when countries try to help the health of their citizens by adding rules to cigarette packaging. And the cigarette companies say, okay, well, Canada and Australia, yep, your big powerful countries will abide by your rules. Oh, but over there, which one was it? Paraguay. Sorry, Paraguay, you don't have enough international political power and money. We're going to fight you, and we're going to take you to court and bankrupt you so that we can keep throwing the garbage, cool collectible, whatever packaging, so that your citizens still get hooked on cigarettes. That's not okay. Get better. Okay, so in 50 years, oh my gosh. That was the first one. The second thing that jumped to mind, our school design. Our school design hasn't changed since we started school, essentially. Like, there's been a little bit, we used to have just one building with all of the grades, and now we've switched to having like each grade the same. And that's pretty much it. And we know that school is not designed for the success of all kids. Kids need more activity. They need more running around. They need to be able to have access to free play and navigate problems themselves and like all of these things. And yet we're still designing school to have them like just sit and just learn. You just sit and learn. And we're not giving teachers the resources to be able to be creative in their program planning either. Like I have friends that are teachers that have all these really great ideas and they just need a budget behind them. And well, sorry, you get $100 for the whole year. So like buy some pencils. Great. So we really need to get it together and revamp our school system because we're just failing like huge numbers of kids that are just not designed to learn the way that humans have learned for centuries. Okay, so that one. Eventually we're going to wake up to that. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. The food that we're eating is not even food. Like it's not okay that, I'm getting a little bit riled up here. It's not okay that the stuff that's like fake food and just chemicals and enhanced wizardry for taking advantage of our sense of taste but is not nutritionally valuable at all, that stuff is way cheaper. And then the food that is actually food is more expensive. And it, like our whole food system is not serving us. And we need to wake up to the fact that it's not serving us. God, we are, pretty much ignoring it in North America, regardless of how like the obesity in our countries is just skyrocketing. And we're just like, well, we better not change anything. Come on, get it together. Okay. Oh, and the last one that really jumped out at me was the fact that we are social creatures. Like we gather in groups and we sort of like specialize amongst ourselves to like enhance the group, and we work together and we problem solve in groups. And then you get into tribalism and war and like all of those kinds of things. But like we're social creatures. And right now we are completely lacking in our opportunities for being social creatures. We are staying at home, especially post-pandemic. Oh, well, let's stay away from each other. Well, let's just Netflix and we'll just sit here and watch and we'll just zone out and be mindless drones and sitting down, sedentary lifestyle. It's not okay. We need to recognize that is not okay because we are currently ignoring that problem and it is giving us major health problems later on. And for, the what's being shown to happen to young kids. Like I talked about in one of a previous video from the previous book, the theory that if you are just in front of a screen and the screen isn't reacting to you, you're not picking up the socialization and the emotional cues. Like even from me, like I'm giving you things, but I'm not reacting to what you're doing. This isn't really a conversation. So yeah, those are my 4 things that I feel pretty passionate about and dare I say even triggered. Like it really riles me up and gets me fired up thinking about these things. So that was a really great question. And I would love for you, my viewers, there are some of you, I see some views, which is very exciting. Have a think in your life. Like what do you think that we are ignoring today that is just going to be so obvious in the future? And throw in some comments and let me know what you're thinking about, because I love to engage and have these discussions. And what did I miss? Like I only came up with 4 things. There's probably millions. So please engage with me as we go along these questions, because I'd love to hear from you, or just consume. It's fine. And have a magical day. Take care. Bye.